Good morning, it's Lee here and you're joining me on another walk in the peaks. So what we're going to do, we're going to head through Longshaw, down Padley Gorge and then over to Padley Chapel. From the chapel we're going to head up to Bolehill Quarry and then loop back down to the Derwent and then head along towards Hathersage. From Hathersage we're going to head up to Millstone Edge, back through Longshaw and back to the car. So the route's about 10 miles all in all. The temperature, what's the car saying? -1. But the sun is shining and it's a little bit hazy in places, but it looks like it's going to be a glorious day. So we are off and straight away we are rewarded with some of the best views in the peaks. Look at this. So straight ahead in that bit of cloud there you got Mamtorn, the Great Ridge, Lewes Hill. This is Millstone Edge, which we're going to be coming down later. Higgertor, Stanage Edge, Kinder in the back, William Hill, Eam Moor, Offerton Moor. You got White Edge in this direction and Froggatt and Kerber. And all Padley Gorge down here where we're going to be going shortly. What a beautiful, beautiful place. It's all owned by the National Trust, the Longshaw Estate, but it used to be owned by the Duke of Rutland. I think in the 1850s he actually built this Longshaw Lodge for shooting parties with his friends. They used to go onto the moors and shoot the grouse and probably deer that were around this area. Under my feet around here, under this bit here, is Totley Tunnel, which starts over here. We're going to go down to the edge of Grindleford in a bit, just at the other side of these trees. But Totley Tunnel runs for over 3.5 miles all the way over to Totley, and it was the tunnel that connected the Sheffield and Manchester line. Building the tunnel basically meant it was a lot quicker for travelling between the two cities. So just at the back of Longshaw Lodge, I just want to show you something. I don't think many people know about this up here, but it actually had its own ice house. Wow, look at that, that goes quite a way down. So Longshaw was home to many wounded soldiers during the First World War. Look at that photo there. Fine example of a millstone. I'm sure we're going to be seeing plenty more of them en route today. Look at that low sun in the sky. It's absolutely beautiful. And all this frosty ground. What a cracking day for it. Yeah, so that's where we're going to be heading down later on in the walk. Up there you've got over Owler Tor, and then down here you've got Owler Tor. The sun will be setting over there at the end of today, and with a bit of luck we'll get a cracking sunset. So we're just coming down to Burbage Brook. This is it here. What a beauty spot. Lovely little brook this, and it flows all the way through Padley Gorge. It's a tributary of the Derwent. So we're just coming into the edge of Padley Gorge, and all these beautiful ancient sessile oak trees, these dominate the valley down here with a little sprinkling of silver birch. But as we go up to Bolehill Quarry you'll see that there's far more silver birch up there, which must have been planted after the quarry works closed down. But this is just absolutely stunning. I mean, look at all this gritstone. You'll find in this hillside here as well that there are lots of discarded millstones. Whether you like it or not, Derbyshire was heavily quarried back in the day. Your Stanage Edge, your Burbage Edge, your Millstone Edge, which we're going to later, and this Bolehill Quarry up here. There's also Yarnscliffe Quarry, which was used for creating millstones and stonework. I tell you what, this Burbage Brook's flowing like a good one today. It's all that snow we've had, the snow melt, now flowing fast into the waterways. Look at this must have been the start of a millstone, I'm guessing. So here's an alternative path if you wanted to get up to Bolehill Quarry, straight up this way. If you continue on, you can get to Surprise View, but we're just going to continue on down to the bottom of Padley Gorge and we'll go check out this Totley Tunnel. So just found an old building nestled in the woods. I think this was the old explosives building for the quarry up on Bole Hill there. Made of stone and a bit of the red brick there. Still in relatively good condition. Look at this. This brings back some memories. Padley Gorge, this is the valve house. And I remember, I think we were about 12, 13, me and a couple of mates sat up here all those years ago. Still doing the walk today. At the bottom here you've got Grindleford Station to the left. We'll have a quick look at the Totley Tunnel that I've mentioned on a couple of occasions, but the walk actually does go off to the right, and we'll go and have a look at the Padley Chapel and the old ruins of Padley Manor. There's your Totley Tunnel, 6,230 yards, 3.5 miles. Finished in 1893. Took 5 years to build that, and it was a really difficult feat of engineering because it's all gritstone under there, and there's a hell of a lot of water ingress, so they're constantly having to seal it and pump it out. But they got there. What a fantastic job. You certainly know you're in that tunnel. It seems to go on forever. And there's your Grindleford Station. And that's the Hope Valley line. If you've not been on that line, I seriously recommend it. Even if you want to go and have a day out in Manchester, the scenic beauty along that line is just second to none. We're just coming up to Padley Chapel and Padley Manor. I absolutely love this. This is just a real highlight of the walk for me. This was once Padley Manor, and it was built in the 14th century on an old Norman building. So there was something here before that in the 14th century, and it was built for the Padley family, and then it was owned by the heirs and then the Fitzherberts, and they were devout Catholics. And in the 16th century the Reformation happened and the Church of England started to pull away from the Catholic Church. And in here in the late 1500s there was 2 Catholic priests hiding out, and in summary they got caught, sentenced in Derby, and were hung, drawn and quartered. But look at this. I mean, you can really sense the history. I mean, look at this. This must have been an old staircase at one time. You can see where it would have spiralled round and gone up and up and up. This must have been like a tower. There's another little trough here. Thin layer of ice on it, look. Oh no, quite a thick layer of ice. What was this for? Another water source to wash in. But what a shame that this went to ruin. Just use your imagination. I mean, what went on here? Absolutely unbelievable place. I was looking on Wikipedia just to get some more information on this place, and there was a little picture, as you get on the Wikipedia articles, of this whole area. And I looked at this picture, and who was sitting on this wall here? Me and the wife. We were in the picture, sitting on that wall on Wikipedia. Go and check it out if you want, but what are the chances of that? So just leaving Padley Chapel and Padley Manor, and normally on this walk what I'll do is continue on this track all the way to Hathersage basically. So this walk is on the website, and with that route on it, if you're not interested in quarries, then yeah, just take that route. But I will put this route on as well that I'm doing today, because I am fascinated with quarries. So I'm going to go and head up that path there. We're going to check out Bolehill Quarry. But before I do, I just want to point out this. So this cutting here in the land is man-made, and you can see the train line through the trees there. And this was once a bridge going over, and it goes all the way up the land. And there used to be 2 tracks going up here, which used to carry wagons from the train line down there. I mean, look at this incline. This is insane. I think it's 1 in 3, and it goes all the way to the foot of Bolehill Quarry. Right, I've just come down just a little bit because I just want to have a look to see on these tracks, because I saw an image online of a load of wagons just lined up here waiting for the rock to be distributed, because a lot of the rock from this Bolehill Quarry was actually used to build the dams, the Upper Derwent dams, which are, I don't know, about 5-6 miles that way. Specifically Howden Reservoir and the Derwent Dam. I think the Lady Bower one was built later on in the 1900s. But there's the Grindleford signal box there. I think that's the original, looking in really good nick. But if you look, this track here, no longer in use. I think this must have been the old sidings. There's a few cloud inversions forming on this very cold end of November day. So just heading up this gradient, and the cutting's probably a little bit more prominent now because there's less trees and you can really see the gradient now. Look how steep that is. You think down at, what's it called, High Peak Junction, that what they had to lift the wagons up there. This is much steeper than that. This is crazy. So these tracks would have had to go well over 100 metres to get to the top here, and I believe there's around 500 men working this quarry, and they had all sorts of equipment. So made it to the top of the cutting, the big incline. We can see down here through these trees, comes all the way up here and stops at the top. And there's a building here which used to have the winding drum, which used to pull the wagons up and let them down. I think there's some sort of pulley system where they loaded up the wagon with stone under the weight of gravity, and then that would pull the other wagon up. I think it's quite hard to believe that this was once here. You know, there were tram tracks here peeling off all the way down the incline with this big winding drum on this thing. There was over 1 million tons of stone was taken up to the dams in the early 1900s. Now, I've done this walk many times. In fact, of all the walks I've done in Derbyshire, I think this is the one I've done the most, from Longshaw. I've been exploring this now for about an hour and a half, and it is absolutely massive. When you think you've explored it all, you come up over a ridge up one of the cliffs, and then there's another set of workings. I mean, and it's so peaceful in here. Just leaving the main bit of Bolehill Quarry, but this track here would have been where they would have transported the millstones to Sheffield Road. And there must have been buildings around here, because they would have made the millstones close to the quarry to help with transportation. So yeah, I don't know. if there was any there's a few old millstones down here, and look at these. Talk about a Millstone Graveyard. Look at these here. I mean, I wonder if these are worth anything these days. I bet they were worth a pretty penny back in the early 1900s, but left dumped. Have you ever seen so many? Look at them all. If you look carefully as well, in this bracken, there's loads more millstones. Took a photo of this a couple of years back. Millstone with a tree growing out the middle. See how this old boy's getting on. Doing alright. Outgrowing the millstone now though. Not far off Hathersage now, probably about a mile. We've just come off past Greenwood Farm up there. Still on the Longshaw Estate that. And we're just going under the Hope Valley line. This little bridge, the detailing on it is fantastic. The stonework, the brick, the arch, the coping stones, it's just a real work of art. There's a viaduct just outside Hathersage, well, as you're going in. Back on the valley floor, here's the River Derwent. And there's the Derwent Valley Heritage Way sign. Did that a couple of years ago. Great fun that was. There were several mills at one time in Hathersage, but this is worth a mention. The viaduct that's carrying the Hope Valley line. But how impressive is this? Just tucked away at the back of the village. 7 arches. Again, look at the brickwork. If you fancy a dip, Hathersage has got its own swimming pool. And not only has it got its own swimming pool, it's an outdoor one. It'll be interesting on a day like today. I think it's heated. It's this brook, Hood Brook, that powered that Barnfields mill just down the way there. It's a beautiful little village, Hathersage. There's so much to see, you could do an entire video on it. I'm not hanging around today because the sun's starting to go down. There's School Lane here, you've got the church, I think it's St Michael's. One of the popular tourist attraction is Little John's grave. If you're down here and you're interested in Robin Hood history, then that's one for you there. Let's go for it. This is where we come off Sheffield Road, public footpath. One big steep climb out of Hathersage. This one just keeps on going. Got some friends here. Hello. A little more. You can go up around the side of Millstone Edge, or there is a little path cutting up the front. I think we'll take the front one today. Oh man, when the sun's low in the sky like this, you can't beat it. You really can't. Wow, just look at this edge. So this would have all been quarried at one time before those millstones. Although there don't seem to be as many lying around as there were just over there at that Bolehill Quarry. What a place for a cuppa. I forgot I've got a flask with me today. Just remembered, and I brought my special cup. Big shout out to Rich for that. He bought that for me for my birthday. Some merch for a walk in Derbyshire. Cheers for that, bud. Makes the tea so much sweeter. Let's see if this is still hot from this morning. Oh, red hot. Look at that. Stay there. Cheers, everyone. Temperature's really starting to drop again now. I think it got up to about 4 degrees earlier on. Got warm coming up that hill, but yeah, I can feel it. It's probably dropped down to 2 now, and there's a bit of a wind picking up. Not got long now. Just parked over there. Here's your Longshaw Lodge, where we started near the beginning of the walk. So many of these beautiful gritstone outcrops. Owler this one. We crossed this bridge near the beginning of the walk and we went down into Padley Gorge. Basically now we're just going to be retracing our steps all the way back up to Longshaw Lodge and then up to the car in the Layby. Okay, my camera's just packed up, saying the SD card can't be read. I'm just praying I've not lost all the footage. What a brilliant walk, it's been absolutely fantastic. If there's one walk I could recommend for someone who's never been to the Peak District, it'd be this one, simply because of all the variety. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you again on the next one. Cheers then, bye for now.